It's 3 in the morning at Buckingham Palace and King Charles is being woken up by frantic security guards. They're literally sprinting down the corridors, and when they burst into his private chambers, the king knows something is catastrophically wrong. Because these are men who've served through wars, through scandals, through everything, and they never panic. But right now, they're white as ghosts. The head of security can barely get the words out. The Queen Mother's diamond tiara, the one she wore at her own coronation, the one that's been in the royal vault for decades, completely untouched, absolutely priceless, is gone. Just vanished. And we're not talking about some random piece of jewelry here. This tiara has been in the royal family for over 200 years. It's got diamonds the size of grapes, sapphires that belonged to Queen Victoria herself, and it's literally worth more than most people's houses. Multiple houses. Actually, Charles throws on his robe, and you can see it in his face. This isn't just about a stolen tiara. This is about legacy, about tradition, about everything the monarchy stands for. And here's where it gets absolutely wild. The security footage shows someone entering the vault at 2:15 in the morning. Someone who had the access codes. Someone who knew exactly where the tiara was kept. Someone who clearly understood the security rotations because they slipped in during the exact 12-minute window when the guards were changing shifts. The investigation starts immediately, and they're pulling up every single camera angle, every security log, every access record, and then they see her. Laura Parker Bowles, Camilla's daughter from her first marriage, walking down the corridor that leads to the vault at 2:14 a.m. She's trying to act casual, but the cameras catch everything. The way she keeps looking over her shoulder, the way she's clutching her handbag like it contains state secrets, the way she practically runs after she exits the vault area. Now here's what makes this even more complicated. Laura isn't some random person. She's been part of the extended royal family for years now. She's attended state dinners, she's been in the Christmas photos, she's had access to areas of the palace that most people could only dream of. And apparently, she's been using that access to plan this heist for weeks. Maybe months. The king orders Laura to be brought to his private office immediately, and when she arrives at 6 a.m., still in her evening clothes from whatever event she'd supposedly been at, you can tell she knows she's caught. Her makeup is smudged, her hands are shaking, and she won't make eye contact with anyone. Charles is standing there in his full king mode, and the disappointment on his face is absolutely crushing. This isn't just a king dealing with a thief. This is a stepfather dealing with a betrayal that cuts deeper than any political scandal ever could. He asks her one simple question. "Where is the tiara?" And Laura just stands there, frozen, like she's calculating whether she can still lie her way out of this. The silence in that room must have been deafening. You've got the King of England, the head of security, 2 royal lawyers, and this woman who just committed what might be the stupidest crime in royal history, all staring at each other in the early morning darkness. Finally, Laura breaks. She starts crying. And the whole story comes tumbling out like a dam breaking. She'd been approached 6 months ago by a private collector, someone who deals in stolen royal artifacts, someone who operates in the shadows of the international black market. This person had offered her £5 million for the Queen Mother's tiara. £5 million cash, untraceable. All she had to do was get it out of the palace. They'd handle everything else. The sale, the smuggling, the new identity for the tiara so it could never be traced back to the crown. And here's the thing that makes this so tragic. Laura didn't need the money. She's got her own successful career, her own wealth, her family's well taken care of, but according to what she tells Charles through her tears, she felt like she was always going to be the outsider. Always going to be Camilla's daughter, never quite royal enough, never quite accepted. And somewhere in her mind, she'd convinced herself that taking this tiara, selling it, proving she could pull off something this audacious would somehow validate her, would somehow prove she mattered. Charles just looks at her, and you can see every emotion crossing his face. Anger, obviously. Betrayal, absolutely. But also this deep, profound sadness, because this is someone he'd welcomed into his family, someone he'd trusted, someone who'd sat at his dinner table and laughed with his grandchildren. And she'd repaid that trust by attempting to steal one of the most precious heirlooms in royal history. But wait, it gets worse. As Laura is confessing, security is already searching her apartment in the palace grounds, and what they find is absolutely damning. She's got detailed maps of the vault, photographs of the tiara from every angle, encrypted messages with the collector discussing the handoff plan, and here's the kicker. She'd already received £2 million as a down payment. The money is sitting in an offshore account in the Cayman Islands, and the collector is expecting the tiara to be delivered to a private airfield outside London in exactly 4 hours. The king has to make a decision, and he has to make it fast. This is his wife's daughter. Banishing her means destroying Camilla, means creating a scandal that will dominate headlines for months, means admitting to the world that someone within the royal family, someone with intimate access, betrayed everything they stand for. But letting it slide, that's impossible. That would mean the crown is weak. That would mean royal treasures can be stolen without consequence. That would mean everything his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth, everything his grandmother, the Queen Mother, stood for, means nothing. He makes the call. Laura is to be removed from palace grounds immediately. Her titles, her privileges, her access to any royal property, gone. She's to be banished from the family, her name removed from all official records, her face scrubbed from family photographs. And here's the part that really shows how serious this is. She's being given exactly 1 hour to pack her personal belongings and leave. After that, if she ever sets foot on crown property again, she'll be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Camilla arrives just as the decision is being announced, and the scene that follows is apparently one of the most heartbreaking moments in modern royal history. She's begging Charles to reconsider, saying Laura made a mistake, saying everyone deserves a second chance, saying this will destroy their family. But Charles stands firm. This isn't about personal feelings anymore. This is about the monarchy, about duty, about the sacred trust between the crown and the people. And that trust was just violated in the worst possible way. By 7:30 a.m., her apartment is empty. Her belongings are being shipped to a storage facility outside London. And the palace is already preparing the official statement. The tiara? It never left the palace. Security had actually caught on to Laura's plan 3 days earlier and had been watching her, waiting to catch her in the act. The tiara she'd stolen was a replica, an exact duplicate created specifically to see if she'd actually go through with it. The real Queen Mother's tiara has been in a secure location the entire time. This is the part that really gets me. Charles had known for 3 days that his stepdaughter was planning to betray the family, and he'd let it play out. He'd wanted to believe she'd back out, that she'd realized the magnitude of what she was doing and stop. But she hadn't. She'd gone all the way, had proven beyond any doubt that she was willing to destroy everything for money and some twisted sense of validation. The story breaks on the morning news, and the headlines are absolutely brutal. Royal heist foiled, stepdaughter banished, the crown's ultimate betrayal. Social media explodes with conspiracy theories, with people taking sides, with royal watchers analyzing every detail. Some people defend Laura, saying the royal family drove her to it with their coldness and exclusion. Others say she got what she deserved, that you don't bite the hand that feeds you, especially when that hand belongs to the King of England. But here's what really matters. In the days after Laura's banishment, something interesting happens. The public's opinion shifts. Initially, there's sympathy for Camilla for having to choose between her daughter and her husband. But then details start emerging about Laura's lifestyle, about the gambling debts she'd hidden, about the lavish spending she'd been doing for years, about how that £5 million wasn't about validation at all.